I really gotta have a real conversation with Snoop. Face to face is gonna be a lot of explaining to do. Puffy and Snoop became besties. Every time you see one, you see another one. Next thing you know, start painting their fingernails. It makes sense.
It's crazy how the whole Diddy situation seems to be casting a shadow over everyone he's ever been associated with. It's like a domino effect of drama. Remember when folks said that anyone linked to Diddy would feel the heat from these allegations? Well, it's playing out just like that. A bunch of big names have been dragged into swirling rumors about Diddy, and whether there's any truth to it or not, their reputations are taking a hit. And now, it looks like Snoop Dogg might be the latest celeb getting pulled into the Diddy drama. Word on the street is that Suge Knight is gearing up to drop some bombshell evidence supposedly linking Snoop to Diddy as his handler. The pressure Suge is putting on Diddy is off the charts. It's like he's on a mission to see Diddy behind bars just like him. He's not holding back, ready to air out all of Diddy's dirty laundry and anyone else who might have been tangled up in the same mess. So, what's the deal with this whole Snoop allegedly being Diddy's handler thing? Well, let's dive in and unravel the juicy details.
Now, if all these people knew what was going on in the situation, nobody never commented to tell anybody that. So you're part of it. You part of that snake.
So recently, Suge Knight claimed that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are among those involved in a secret society with Diddy. On a new episode of Collect Call with Suge Knight that aired via Dave Mays Breakbeat Media, the former music mogul suggested that rappers painting their nails and buying Diddy gifts are indications of them being a part of an exclusive group. Once they start painting their fingernails and wearing women's clothes, they got you, he said. I remember when they was giving Puffy an award at the ASCAP Awards. Andre went up there and got him an expensive watch and gave it to him in front of everybody. He basically confessed his love to this man. Then Puffy and Snoop became besties. Every time you see one, you've seen the other one. Next thing you know, they start painting their fingernails. Didn't make sense. He also mentioned how the Game bought Diddy a Lamborghini when Diddy has more money than him, saying it's all part of the secret society. The Game bought Puffy a Lamborghini when Puffy got more money than Game. Why you buying this man a Lamborghini? You know your homies don't even got a Lamborghini. But once again, it's that secret society. For this thing to work and fix it, they gotta start all the way over in these major record labels and these big buildings. They need to get rid of all the guys who was connected to the poison and the snake.
I feel like I owe Diddy something, so I bought him a Ferrari, man.
That's what's up, man.
It was just a Tuesday.
Your homies even got a Lamborghini. They probably never rode in a Lamborghini. But once again, that secret society.
Now, this isn't the first time the Game's been dragged into shady dealings with Diddy. He's even speculated about it himself in the past. He didn't outright say Diddy made a move, but he did share some eyebrow-raising stuff. The Game spilled the beans about hanging with Diddy for a solid 2 years, doing the whole shopping spree scene, and not dropping a single track together.
A few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff. We just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just...
Back in the day, chatting with VLAD TV, the Game got real about high-profile rappers leading a bit of a double life. He threw it out there saying he thinks there are several rappers in the closet, playing it off by hooking up with lots of ladies. The Game was like, I'm cool with being gay, be proud of it. His issue is with folks pretending not to be gay when they actually are, causing health issues and drama. When asked if he worked with a rapper not being straight up about their orientation, he was like, yeah man, some man fans out there in hip-hop, basically saying, if you're gay, just own it. No need for all the hiding and pretending. The Game didn't drop any names, but he threw some hints.
And not being just full of hiding and trying to pretend like he, loves girls and live the rap lifestyle, but really, he's a man fan.
He's a man fan.
Yeah. There's a lot of man fans out there in hip-hop.
Then, he hits up Drink Champs and spills all the details about how he crossed paths with Diddy. Back in 2001, the Game was making serious moves in music with his brother Big Phase 100. They cooked up a mixtape and it landed right in Diddy's hands. Game's thinking, awesome bad boy deal on the horizon. But nope, didn't happen. Why? According to Game, Diddy had some wild expectations. He supposedly wanted Game some other rapper to get down and dirty in exchange for a record deal. They were like, nope, not happening. Now jump ahead to the Drink Champs episode, and Game spills the tea. Diddy's acting like they're about to drop an album, but reality check. For a solid 2 years, it's just globetrotting. Diddy tossing cash around, buying Game all sorts of bling and watches. But here's the twist. When Diddy caught on that Game wasn't biting on whatever offer he supposedly had in mind, he passed him off to Dr. Dre, now back to Suge Knight. He had previously talked about Dre, Snoop, and Diddy on his podcast, as well as the aforementioned secret society. Back in February, he referenced the NWA beatmaker's history of violence against women and his participation in said group while defending Chris Brown. You can have a man that's part of that secret society and they're gonna give him an award, the Impact Award, he said. That Mutha F beat up more B than anybody. This man gets an award for beating up women. The incarcerated record executive then compared Dre's situation to Chris Brown's 2009 A of then-girlfriend Rihanna, saying, Chris Brown is stripped of his crown, and not saying it was right that him and Rihanna got into it and they had a fight or he beat her up. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is this. He had a fight with one woman or he beat up one woman, and they still casting stones at him. He added, they don't give him his cigar, they don't let him come perform, they don't let him pretty much win awards, but you can have an Impact Award with Andre. Now, besides all of this, Suge Knight has also claimed that Snoop Dogg may have something to do with Tupac's death. In an interview, Suge demanded answers from Snoop about Tupac's saying he wants to have a serious face-to-face chat with his former artist. And it doesn't stop there. Suge's throwing out some wild claims, like suggesting that Snoop told another rapper not to go to Vegas with the Death Row crew back in '96 because something's gonna happen. As far as the Puffy situation, I really gotta have a real conversation with Snoop, he said. I knew that Pac did everything right by him by putting him on All Eyes on Me, speaking about him and being real with him. And if it's true what they say, face-to-face it's gonna be a lot of explaining to do. Suge also addressed remarks made by Warren G on Drink Champs, where he recalled him and Snoop learning about Tupac's shooting through a Nextel radio while in Los Angeles. The only way you would have a radio is if you was at the fight with us and he had a security detail, Knight said. By him not having a security detail, what are you doing with a radio? Why would you have a play-by-play on the radio?
Only way you would have a radio if you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail. Now, not having a security detail, what are you doing with the radio?
Warren G had previously revealed that he inadvertently saved Snoop Dogg from potentially getting shot, or worse, K-worded, in the drive-by shooting that claimed Tupac's life. The G-Funk legend shared the incredible anecdote during his latest appearance on Drink Champs, where he explained how Snoop had originally planned to go to Las Vegas with Pac and Suge Knight to watch the Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon fight on September 7, 1996. In a fortuitous twist of fate, the Dogfather changed his mind at the last minute and took Warren G up on his offer to watch the WBA heavyweight contest at his house in Los Angeles instead.
If I wouldn't have talked to him and got him to come over to my house, he probably would have been right there in the car with them.
There were further claims from Knight, including him saying that Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger did a song with one of Pac's alleged DeAndre Smith. Knight also said that Snoop never visited Tupac in hospital after his shooting, although the Dogfather has said multiple times that he saw Pac before he died. Recounting the incident on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast last year, Snoop said, "He got tubes in him, and when I walked in, I could just feel that he wasn't even there, and I fainted. Then his mother got me up and walked me to the bathroom and had a conversation with me about being strong." It has been rumored that Snoop Dogg and Tupac fell out shortly before the latter's death after the Gin and Juice rapper praised the Notorious Big in a radio interview, which can potentially explain why Knight believes he had something to do with the shooting. And let's not forget, it's also a big reason why Suge Knight's got a bone to pick with Diddy. Rumor has it, Diddy was also in the mix of suspects tied to Tupac's death. Shuge, who found himself both a witness and a victim in the shooting, shared a chilling account of the incident with Las Vegas police during an interview just 3 days after the event. Recalling the night of September 7, 1996, as they cruised along Las Vegas Boulevard with rap music filling the air, a sudden burst of gunshots disrupted their conversation at a red light. Tupac was like trying to get to the back seat. I grabbed him and pulled him down. It was about 15 gunshots. They hit my head. I grabbed him and pulled him down, Suge recounted to the police. Despite suffering bullet abrasions on his shoulder, neck, and chest, Suge emphasized that neither he nor Tupac provoked the shooters or knew them, maintaining a sense of confusion and shock during the chaotic moment. In the aftermath of the drive-by shooting, Suge highlighted a crucial detail about Tupac's reaction. Despite being unaware of the severity of his own injuries, Tupac expressed concern for Suge, stating, "You the one they shot in the head. You shot in the head." In a 1996 MTV News interview, just a week after Tupac's passing, Suge opened up about the aftermath. He shared how, despite the gravity of the situation, he and Tupac were still exchanging jokes as he hurriedly took him to the hospital. He said, "Pac saved my life. I got shot in the head and I got grazed in other places, but I still got the bullet in my head. It's still there. there. Trying to get him to the hospital didn't make me realize I was shot, because usually when you get shot in the head, the first thing the person does is panic. You know, bam, I'm shot in the head, I'm about to die. And once you do that, you can't drive nowhere. My whole thing was Pac was shot. I'm like, you shot, let me get you to the hospital. I'm driving to the hospital and Pac looks at me and said, you know what? You need a doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time we were finding our way to the hospital. Pac was a man the whole time. He was cracking jokes.
Pac looked at me and said, you know what? You need a doctor more than me. You the one shot in your head. And we laughed the whole time going to find our way to the hospital. That's the conversation we had.
He continued, saying he was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery. But that might not be the only twist to Tupac's last moments. In a recent interview, the first police officer on the scene of Tupac Shakur's fatal shooting revealed a surprising detail. Chris Carroll, who retired from the Las Vegas Metro Police Department in 2010, was on a bike patrol night shift on September 7th when the initial skirmish involving Shakur and Suge Knight broke out after boxer Mike Tyson's match. Carroll arrived at the scene shortly after the drive-by shooting and was the one to open the passenger door of Knight's BMW. He claimed that instead of revealing his Tupac used his last conscious moments to hurl insults at him, sticking to his no-snitching mantra. So I'm looking at Tupac and he's trying to yell back at Shuge, and I'm asking him, who shot you? What happened? Who did it? And he was just kind of ignoring me. He was making eye contact with me here and there, but he's trying to yell at Shuge. And I kept asking over and over, who did this? Who shot you? And he basically kept ignoring me. And then I saw in his face, in his movements, all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, he changed. And he went from struggling to speak, being non-cooperative, to an I'm at peace type of thing. Just like that. He went from fighting to I can't do it. And when he made that transition, he looked at me and he's looking right in my eyes. And that's when I looked at him and said one more time, who shot you? He looked at me and he took a breath to get the words out, and he opened his mouth, and I thought I was actually going to get some cooperation. And then the words came out, F you. After that, he started gurgling and slipping out of consciousness. At that point, an ambulance showed up and he went into unconsciousness.
Right in the eyes, we looked at each other and he said, you. And he said it just like that, with the emphasis on that F to, to really let me know.
Carroll continued his account, sharing that he accompanied the unconscious Tupac in the ambulance with the hope that he might regain consciousness and reveal his assailants. However, Shakur remained in a coma until his death from internal bleeding 6 days later. The former officer dismissed the notion of further developments in the case, asserting that nothing more is ever going to happen with it. He also commented on Suge Knight, stating that Knight genuinely cared for Tupac during the heat of the moment, and dispelling the idea that Knight had a hand in deeming such claims as ridiculous. Now, to really grasp the beef between these two, let's take a closer look at the whole East Coast-West Coast showdown that basically set the stage for Tupac and Biggie's tragedies. Hip-hop, born and bred in the New York streets, got its groove on the East Coast. New York rappers, riding on the city's hip-hop legacy, kind of felt like they owned the scene. On the flip side, West Coast artists, like Suge Knight, felt a bit slighted by the East's perceived superiority. Enter 1991. Suge co-founds Death Row Records in LA, with Dr. Dre, Dick Griffey, and the DOC being a Compton native and a Blood. Shuge wasn't too thrilled about the East's attitude. Fast forward to 1993, Puff Daddy steps into the game, dropping Bad Boy Records, repping New York's hip-hop flavor. 1994 rolls in, and Biggie and Craig Mack from Bad Boy hit the scene, creating waves. Meanwhile, Tupac's on the West Coast doing his thing, 2 banging albums, 3 movies, but he's facing financial struggles and a nasty trial in NYC for various charges. On November 30th, 1994, Tupac rolled up to Quad Studios in Manhattan for a recording gig. Little did he know, trouble was brewing. Junior Mafia, Bad Boy's crew, gave him shout-outs on the street, but once inside, chaos erupted. Gunmen stormed in, ordered everyone down, and when Pac hesitated, he caught 5 bullets and got robbed. As he got wheeled out, he gave the middle finger to Biggie and other Bad Boy folks present. The next day, Pac got convicted for inappropriate behavior. In an interview with Kevin Powell, he hinted that Biggie, Puff Daddy, and Andre Harrell might have been behind the Quad Studios attack. Puff visited Pac and Rikers and swore Bad Boy wasn't involved. But in February 1995, Biggie's Who Shot Ya dropped, with lyrics that Pac saw as a direct jab. Biggie and Puff denied denied it, saying the track was recorded before the incident, but the tension was rising. This was just the beginning. On August 3, 1995, Suge Knight threw shade at Puff Daddy during that year's Source Awards in New York City. He boldly declared to all the artists present, "If you want to be a star without worrying about the executive producer hogging the videos, getting all up in your records and dancing, come to death row."
Don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to death row.
This jab was aimed at Puff Daddy's habit of appearing in his artists' music videos and contributing ad-libs to their songs. To the New York crowd, Knight's remarks felt like a diss to the entire East Coast hip-hop scene, prompting boos from the audience. The boos continued when Dr. Dre was announced as Producer of the Year. In response, Snoop Doggy Dogg, a death row artist at the time, seized the microphone from Dr. Dre and questioned the crowd. "The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Death Row? Y'all don't love us? Y'all don't love us? Well, let it be known then. We don't give a damn. We know y'all East Coast. We know where the heck we at." Puff Daddy later graced the stage as a presenter and delivered a message to the audience. "All this East and West rivalry, it needs to stop. So give it up for everybody from the East and the West that won tonight. One love." Problems kept coming the next month when Suge Knight and Puff Daddy attended a birthday bash for musician Jermaine Dupri at Platinum House Club in Atlanta. The tension between the two groups spilled out of the club, and Jai Big Jake Robles, a close friend of Knight's and a Death Row Blood affiliate, was tragically shot and killed while getting into a limousine. Knight pointed fingers at Combs, who was also present at the event, accusing him of involvement in the shooting. Following Robles' death, Knight secured Tupac's release from prison by posting his $1.4 million bond. He flew across the country, rented a limousine, and picked Tupac up from Clinton Correctional Facility. After his release, Tupac joined Knight in intensifying Death Row's feud with Bad Boy Records. Tupac used his music to insult or threaten Biggie, Bad Boy, and its affiliates from late 1995 to 1996. Songs like "Against All Odds," "Bomb First," "My Second Reply," and "Hit 'Em Up" are just a few examples. Even though Biggie never dropped a direct diss track in response, Lil Cease from Junior Mafia claimed in an XXL interview that "Long Kiss Goodnight," a track of Biggie's, was aimed at Tupac. Puff Daddy, on the other hand, firmly denied this notion, stating that if Biggie had something to say about Tupac, he would have mentioned him by name. As the feud escalated, the media jumped into the mix, labeling the conflict a coastal rap war and providing continuous coverage. This media attention led fans from both hip-hop scenes to take sides. Hold on, there's more to this crazy saga. Back in October 1995, Tupac crossed paths with Biggie's estranged wife, Faith Evans, at a party. They struck a deal where Tupac agreed to cough up $250,000 for her to feature on one of his tracks. Plot twist. After Faith laid down her vocals, Tupac allegedly pulled a stunt, refusing to pay unless she got intimate with him, and she shut it down. Despite Faith repeatedly shutting down rumors of any romantic involvement with Tupac, Suge Knight and Tupac suggested otherwise. Come January 1996, they dropped hints to Lynn Hirschberg of the New York Times that Tupac and Evans were in a relationship, with gifts exchanged for what Tupac implied were more than just friendly favors. Biggie, on catching wind of the Times article, flew into a fit of rage and confronted Evans. Publicly, though, Biggie tried to play it off as a joke, but Tupac, in his track "Hit 'Em Up," left no room for interpretation, boldly claiming, "I effed your B, you fat mother, and you claim to be a player, but I effed your wife." Hip-hop writers like Allison Samuels from Newsweek and Kierna Mayo from The Source painted Evans as a pawn in Tupac's revenge plot against Biggie and the ongoing power struggle between the two artists. The media wasn't exactly sympathetic towards Evans. In March 1996, Vibe even cracked a joke about her losing weight from all that running back and forth between the notorious Big and Tupac. Yet, as night fell, Tupac faced the repercussions of his choices, and the world of hip-hop mourned the loss of one of its icons. On September 7, 1996, Tupac Shakur fell victim to a drive-by shooting at the intersection of Flamingo Road and Koval Lane in Las Vegas, Nevada. Swiftly taken to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, he passed away 6 days later. He was 25 years old. The feud took another heartbreaking turn, leading to the loss of yet another hip-hop icon. 6 months after Tupac's passing on March 9, 1997, the notorious Big became the victim of a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles, California. The night before, on March 8, 1997, he was enjoying a vibrant Soul Train Awards after-party in LA, hosted by Vibe and Quest Records at the Peterson Automotive Museum. The festivities were abruptly halted at 12:30 a.m. when the fire department shut down the party due to the enthusiastic crowd. Biggie, accompanied by his crew in 2 GMC Suburbans, decided to head back to the hotel. Seated in the front passenger seat alongside Lil Cease, he embarked on the journey, while Diddy occupied the other vehicle with his bodyguards. As the clock struck 12:45 a.m., the streets were alive with people dispersing from the party. Biggie's SUV paused at a red light near the museum when, out of nowhere, a black Chevrolet Impala pulled up. The driver, an unidentified individual sharply dressed in a blue suit and bow tie, rolled down his window, brandished a 9mm pistol, and unleashed a barrage of shots at Biggie's vehicle. 4 bullets found their mark, and his entourage rushed him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Despite the efforts of doctors, he was declared dead at 1:15 a.m. At just 24 years old, Biggie's life met a dark and tragic end. The autopsy, revealed 15 years later, provided the grim details. Only the final shot proved fatal, piercing through his right hip, impacting his colon, liver, heart, and left lung before coming to rest in his left shoulder. It marked the somber conclusion to an influential era in hip-hop. Now, Suge Knight's podcast is still going strong, and it looks like there's a ton more juicy secrets to come in the next episodes. No doubt Diddy's going to be feeling the heat on this. What's your take on the whole situation? Share your thoughts down below, and we'll catch you in the next video.